Hi everyone, I am Raquel and I am back with another one. If you're new here, this channel is all about discussing tips to help you level up in your career or really just to get by in the workplace. Today I'm going to be discussing some sure signs that you are about to get fired. Now, I've had some mixed feelings about creating this video because it's not my usual go get them motivational career videos, but I'm committed to being real and transparent on this channel. And I know that not everyone is in the best place in their career. I would even bet many of you may say, I don't even know if I have a career. I'm just working to get by. So whether you are in your dream job or just working to pay bills, you may be in a position where you are not entirely comfortable with how things are going. Maybe it's your manager you are not getting along with, or you're making mistakes, or you're forgetting things, or maybe the company is just not performing well. I have been working in the HR field for about 15 years, so I've seen a lot, especially what goes on behind the scenes when HR and managers are discussing when it's time to let someone go. So let's jump right into it. Now let's talk about sign number one. So if your manager has recently started documenting your responsibilities and tasks and really putting an emphasis on cross-training, now, it's really not a for sure sign that you're about to get fired, but if it's coupled with possibly you had just gotten written up, or your manager has really never asked anyone to cross-train, it may be a sign that something's wrong. This is especially true if your responsibilities are key, like in your department, and it's key for your department's success, or you're the only one doing something in your department. It could also be that they are cross-training, really, but just watch out for this sign, because especially if you had recent issues with this manager and performance, they may automatically start saying that they want to document responsibilities, because if you leave or they let you go or they're about to write you up, they don't know if you're a flight risk, or they know that due to your performance issues or something that went on, that they really need to document tasks and responsibilities. So they may ask you to, put your everyday responsibilities on a document or detail step-by-step a task that you do. So I would say in this instance, I would definitely be transparent with your manager and ask. I wouldn't say to ask why you're doing it, because it could be really an innocent cross-training by a manager and them wanting to be efficient. But I would definitely ask for transparency, especially if this is a new manager. Maybe they're just trying to understand the department and who does what. But like I said, if it's coupled with, they've been on you attendance or coming in early or late, or just performance in general, and they start cross-training and having you document responsibilities, that might be the first sign. All right, so sign number two, and like I said, I've been in HR for a while, so this is one that I see a ton of. So let's just say your manager has recently started to bring light of like silly or petty mistakes that you're making, right? So mistakes that you've probably always made because, they're human error or things like that. And you find that recently, it's being brought to light that maybe you forgot to bill an insurance company, but others in the department have maybe forgot this. Maybe it's a common mistake. But you feel like, every week during your one-on-ones or whenever you meet with your manager or the company owner, they're bringing light to things that really have been okay in the past. So I would say that some managers, when they feel like, it's time to let this person go, maybe they're not a good fit for the team anymore, instead of having transparent conversations and being very direct with you on, this is not working out, you're not a good fit for where we're going as a company. That way you have a fair chance to start looking for another job. They may start to get a little petty. So I'm used to this just being in HR, because I would have, a manager come and say, okay, this employee is not working out. And then the next week after that, I'm getting that they were 2 minutes late to work, or they, forgot to do this one little thing. And then I would ask the manager, being the HR professional that I am, has this employee made a mistake like this before? Similar mistakes? Is anybody else in the department making mistakes like this? And then a lot of times it comes to light that it's a common mistake. So just keep a watch out for that, because that may be a sign that your manager is starting to get petty. And again, if it's coupled with a written warning that you've got, and this has been going on for months, that's a great sign that you'll probably not work out there in the long run, especially if a manager is being petty about things like that. Okay, so sign number 3, and this is probably the obvious. So if you've been written up or placed on a performance improvement plan, chances are your job's in jeopardy. And if you have a relatively good manager or HR person at your company and they've delivered a performance improvement plan to you or written warning, they would be very direct with you and let you know that your job's on the line. So usually what companies have to do is, if they want to let you go, it's in their best interest to document performance issues or policy violations. So if you're sitting down and your manager or your HR professional gives you a performance warning or improvement plan, if they're great at what they do, it really shouldn't be a surprise to you. That should have been something that was verbally expressed, that you're making these mistakes, unless it was a policy violation that, maybe you didn't read the policy handbook and you were just surprised. But it really, once you get a document, it shouldn't be a shock to you. It should have already been a conversation. But that is a for sure sign that your job may be on the line. They're gearing up to let you go. Okay. And this is not, like I said, with the first sign, a guarantee that you are going to get fired. But like I said, on this channel, I aim to be very transparent and real. Just being in HR for so long, I see that, many times they're gearing up. But it could be that if you're on a performance improvement plan, your manager actually does want to get you to improve your performance. So it could be that they believe in you and they really just have to document their expectations if they're doing a great job. So it's not a for sure sign, but it's pretty obvious. All right, so sign number 4, and this one more than likely is out of your control. So if your company is losing money, if business results have been on the decline, stock prices are down, so the company overall is not performing good. If you're in customer service and you've seen that business has very much slowed down recently, that may be a good sign that they may have to let you go. So I would say if you're in an at-will state, that means that a company can really let you go at any time for any reason. So don't ever count on the philosophy that a lot of people think are required by law, but it's not really required, where it says the last person in is usually the first person out when it comes to layoffs. That's really not a legal reason, so a company may decide to have layoffs if they're not doing well, or maybe they were acquired. And yes, they can say last people in will be the first people out. So if you were just hired, more than likely they'll lay you off, but it doesn't always happen like that. Okay. So they may look at job performance. They may look at a number of things. So job performance, seniority, they may look at your roles and responsibilities and say, okay, we have 5 people doing that. Maybe someone else just came into the company, but they're the only person doing that role. So it just depends. So I don't want you ever to be blindsided, I guess, to say that you thought that, I wasn't going to be the one to be laid off because I've been here 5 years and everybody else has been here 3 or less. So just keep in mind that if you see, things are rocky when it comes to the business, always be on your P's and Q's, because that may be a sign that you may be laid off and lose your job. Not a for sure sign like any of these, but just something to keep in mind. Okay, so the last sign number 5, and many of you are probably going through this process right now since it's towards the end of the year, but if you've received a not so good performance review, so even if your performance review was stellar last year and this year it's not so great, chances are, again, that's your manager or potentially HR giving them some advice that they need to stop documenting performance issues. Okay, so things may have changed in the way things were done when your tasks or responsibilities, or maybe you recently got a new manager and their expectations are probably different from your previous manager, and they're documenting that on your performance review. So if you are getting a below average performance review, again, that could be them gearing up to say, we're going to document this, so when we let this person go, there is no, case that is filed, or, we don't have to explain why we're letting the person go. I always say that no one should be surprised when losing their job outside of maybe an acquisition or your company is being bought out. But if your manager has an issue with your recent performance or something that you're doing, they should let you know, give you a fair warning, and express their expectations and steps for you to improve your performance. But we all know that there are some horrible managers out there. My hope is that this video helps to put some perspective on what you may be experiencing and maybe will experience if you're presented with challenges at work. Losing your job may be devastating, but really it may be for a reason. It may open up a door to an amazing opportunity. Well, thanks for watching, and if you love this type of content, please consider subscribing. But until next time, bye guys.